Hello and welcome to Resilience in the Heart of Change. Today, this activation is really here to help you figure out what's most aligned for you. In today's world, there is so much information, an overwhelming amount. And how the heck can you decide what's best for you? We've grown up kind of going to experts, whether it's doctors or a financial expert or whatever the case might be. And yet, each one of us is an individual and has parts of us that are unique. While there's a certain portion that may fit with the so-called norm, there's also a part of you that's unique. So how do you know if whatever information you're taking in is really what's best for you? And that's what we're going to dive into today in Resilience in the Heart of Change. Angela, do you have anything to add as we get started?
Yeah, I would just like to say, I think more and more we are being called to tune back into our own inner wisdom and follow our own inner guidance. I've been failed many times by traditional medical system, and also a lot of the things that I was told and programmed as a child. Well, all of us in that case, right? These ways we were conditioned, and it's time to stop always just listening to everything around us and really tune in and discern, like you mentioned, what is true, what is most aligned for us. So welcome, we're excited to share this with you.
All right. So, really, when it comes to figuring out what's best of you, the ultimate desire is to connect with your intuition. And one of the things that Angela and I are really here to share with Heart Magic Healing is learning how to connect with your heart. And what we feel that it's so much more with the heart than the mind, as our mind is really what's held on to a lot of that programming, and it actually shuts down possibilities based on past experiences and things that we've been told, that programming, right? The mind is saying, well, that's not possible because we heard XYZ type of thing. And so really part of that mind believing it's not possible is a portion of it is linked to a sense of safety. Your mind is here to do three things: to avoid pain, save energy, and seek pleasure. So when it is guiding you to whether or not something is best for you, that's its priority. And the heart really has the ability to go beyond the limits that the mind has created. So, how do we do that? And one of the ways we'll dive into self practice techniques later in this workshop. But one of the things that we have found that is really important is finding your grounding element, your support structure. And I'll share when I really became aware, really conscious of this journey, it was like my whole world just got flipped upside down. I went down so many rabbit holes at once. I had no idea what to believe anymore. Who could I trust? Everything that I was raised with, it was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I didn't have that grounding structure. I didn't feel safe at all. And it's something that I've really strived to bring back in. So, what does that grounding structure look like? That's going to be unique to you. It could be a trustworthy friend, someone that, and when I say trustworthy, it's who do you feel safe with? Someone that'll be there to really hold space for you as you share whatever is on your mind and heart. It could also be some kind of physical activity. Maybe, I know Angela has mentioned that her husband loves going to the gym. And so it could be something like going to the gym to consistently get out of your mind and into your body. It could be something like something that brings you pure joy. Like if there's, maybe if kids really bring you joy, is there a way that you can volunteer to help with kids some way? Something like that. what is really where you come home to, finding something that will help you ground in a support system. And as you have that, it'll help you navigate the other changes in your life. Angela, anything to add with those first couple of points?
Yeah, I really, when we talk about, heart, living more in the heart, I think sometimes people, we're so used to being in our thinking minds that we think, oh, that means you don't have to give up your mind, your logical mind, but it's almost like it's bringing them more together and your mind working at the service of your heart versus your mind trying to control everything. You know,
Absolutely. I love that.
yeah, and so then that kind of brings us into this next point here is like many times we try to control situations as a means of creating that feeling of safety. And, it's like when we feel like we have some control over things, but one, we are controlling or we are trying to control from our limited framework of our past experiences, and again all of that conditioning and programming and what we currently believe and know to be true based on our past experiences. So is that really serving us? uh, I say no. And so, learning to let go of trying to control everything. And then again, this is where once you start to tune into that wisdom of your heart, you'll be guided in ways that are more aligned and more effective for feeling safe and feeling like you can actually be out there in the world, take up space, be your authentic self, find that joy, right? Because when you try to think about when you can trying to control things and it's not working, does that bring you joy? I know for me it doesn't. It just makes me more frustrated, right? So
I can definitely relate to that for sure.
yeah, and then anything else to add on that point, Amanda?
Yeah, there's a piece coming through that as we're trying to control things, and you mentioned that limited framework, one of the pieces that can be important is finding ways to expand what we believe is possible. We keep mentioning that our mind is based on past experiences. There are others who have different experiences. And so, how can we potentially, like, if you grew up in a small house or whatever, how can you potentially be expanded by those that have experiences in a larger house or a different, whatever you're trying to call into your life right now? How can you find other people that maybe have that experience and use them as your inspiration to help you believe that, oh, maybe help bring that mind on board to connect with your heart's desires?
Yeah, I love that. Yes, more possibility.
Yes.
And then the other part, when it comes, so control is one way we try to create safety. Other times we rely on external factors to try to create a sense of safety, but really that sense of safety starts within us. And so uh, a couple ways to start to move towards feeling safe within is one, when you're doing the healing work, that's going to help because when you can release those traumas, all those stuck emotions and past things that are trapped in our nervous system that are keeping it on high alert. So, doing the healing work, that's one way that it's going to be helpful. Um, Another way, too, is when we have and Amanda talked about the grounding element. When we're ungrounded, our energy tends to be scattered and unfocused, and that's also going to create this anxiousness in the nervous system. Also, having poor energetic boundaries. So, especially for those of us that are empaths, we feel the energies of the world, and so if we don't have strong energetic boundaries, then we're also going to, again, our nervous system will be overwhelmed by all that stimuli. So, having better energetic boundaries, and then also learning to discern, and this kind of goes along with the energetic boundaries, learning to discern what energy and emotions and thoughts are yours and which aren't. I realized one time when it hit me when I was driving one day. I used to live in Austin, Texas, and traffic there is getting pretty crazy. And I remember one day I left my house and I was fine. I felt great. I had great energy that day. I mean, I was just feeling so good that day. And then I got on the highway, and all of a sudden it was like a switch had flipped. And I was agitated and I was having these really ugly thoughts. And I was like, what is going on? And then it just hit me that day. I was like, oh my gosh, I am picking up the thoughts of all these and the energy of the drivers around me because, the traffic was kind of stop and go, and um, people, I was picking up on that agitation, but also I realized I was picking up on their thoughts. And so learning to discern what thoughts, emotions, and energies are yours and which are not, because again, that can overwhelm your system. So finding ways to not take that on and have better boundaries around it. Anything to add there, Amanda?
Well, I would love to highlight with your story. You mentioned towards the beginning of this topic to the healing work and how that helps, right? And then in your story, you mentioned that you were able to pick up on that you were picking up on other people's energies. So that was something that the healing work has actually helped you do. It brought awareness. You're like, oh wait, this isn't mine. Uh, I can say for myself, and I'm guessing it's probably true for you as well, that before I was really aware of this journey and was doing any kind of healing work, I would not have picked up that may be somebody else's energy. I would have just been in that frustrated agitation energy.
Yeah, 100%. And oh, something hit me. Almost, it just left, but let me see if I can get it back in. It's about doing the healing work. Oh, the embodiment of it. So that's, when we talk about coming into the heart, really a lot of this is we are up in our heads where some of us are living just completely out of our bodies, really. And so it's that embodiment. And through that healing work, you can start to come back. It feels safe to come back into the body. And then that's again where you create more of this awareness of these situations, and you'll have more of these opportunities for to really discern what is actually going on and what to do about it.
Yes, and we're going to share some of this with you in the self practice techniques about helping you really come back into your body. And as you bring awareness and begin to realize, like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling so anxious and stressed, we're actually going to give you a couple of techniques to pause and say, okay, nope, I am safe. And how can you tell your body that you are safe right now? And why do we need to create this sense of safety? And really, it comes down to that lack of safety is creating an attachment, and it's gonna block that manifestation from coming through. So, for example, I know something for myself that I've been working on is really the like financial piece, right? Like, how do I really build and create this successful business doing something totally different from how I was raised and such. And one of the things that I've realized is that I had put myself in a situation that it was too difficult for me to trust or really feel safe that all of my financial needs were going to be met. And so as long as I stay in that energy, it created that attachment which blocks it coming through. Now, I've had many layers that I've been working on with that, but that is a really big one. And also just knowing, where is that, being open to where it's going to come from type of thing. But until I could start to create that sense of safety and notice in when I maybe go to pay for something or how I was making a decision, oh, I'm making this based on what it costs. Where's that money going to come from? Rather than, is this feel like it's aligned? And is it something that, is really going to bring us joy or whatever the case? Does it feel aligned for our family? And as I could start to catch that in the moment of making a financial decision, I could start to tell my body that I'm safe right now. And here's reframe how I would like to look at this decision and begin to break that attachment to it.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to add, Angela?
No, I think that's good. I had another point, but I think I'm just gonna save it more for some of the ways that the exercises they can work with. So I think we're good here.
Okay. All right. Well, we will see everybody in the activation next.